finish on a high after Gillingham, certainly obvious. But looking back at Gillingham, what pleased you most about that?
Gillingham?
Yeah.
I think the control we had in the game, I really liked the way we controlled the game. We were never in any trouble. I think we're looking back on the game on Sunday morning, I can only record 2 shots, one being the penalty for Gillingham. So I think the control of the game, to go to a place like that, who have spent big, spent heavy, and as I said to the lads before the game, and I said it after, they tried to spend heavy and to leave us behind, and they couldn't, and they hadn't, and that's testament to our group. In which we were ahead of them before kick-off and ahead of them after kick-off, so that's how far we have come as a group. It was a great benchmark, but in general the control we had on the game, the way we played, it was a red hot day, to be fair, and there was energy sapping, but I thought we were very, very good. And on another day, and again probably the story of our season, if we had been a little bit more clinical, we might have come away with 1 or 2 more goals. But of course the travelling fans, that was unbelievable, to be fair, to go 5-6 hours across to Kent, and to dress up the way they dressed up. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I was envious, to be honest. I was envious. I would have liked to be in behind the goal with them, jumping about and celebrating. And I'm just delighted that we could give them something to celebrate, and on the road as well, up at Doncaster as well, a couple of weeks previous. So there seems to be, as I said before, there seems to be a good buzz about the place. The players seem to be in a good place, and there's a lot of positivity on the football side of things.
In terms of bit of a break since then, is that a good thing to just go again? Because it has been a draining period. You've had a bit of a break, probably. I'd imagine the boys given a few days off to just one last.
Yeah, we give them. I told them last week. I just said to them, it's because I think you guys will correct me here if I'm wrong, but I think that was our 7th or our 8th game in 28 days. Add in the travelling to Doncaster, to Gillingham. And there was one other. Geez, there was so many games I can't mind, but there was 3 travels. There was 3 big travels in there as well in such a short space of time. With very little training time, and very little recovery time. And as you've probably seen, it was the same group of lads, barring the 2 or 3 changes we could afford in the middle of the park. Other than that, it was the same 7 or 8 lads who were asked to go again and again and again. Now, I don't believe we would have been able to do that, and we would have come through that if we didn't train the way we trained in our first 2 months. Results possibly could have been better in our first 2 months, but we put a lot of emphasis on getting our fitness, on intensity. And we asked a lot of the players, and you could physically see in our first 10, 12 games, myself and Joe, when we come in, you could physically see that it was hurting them. But they were a great group of lads to go through that period, and now we're coming on stronger at the back end of the season. And if the truth be known, we don't really want the season to end, to be quite honest. But the sad part of end of season, and particularly with this group of boys, the sad part of that, from my point of view and from Joe's point of view, will be we will lose 1 or 2 players, and that will be sad, because we've really, really enjoyed working with each and every one of them. And we'll go away, we'll have a break, and then obviously we'll get back at it when we'll come the last week in June, first week in July. So it'll be a well-earned break, shall we say?
Is that losing 1 or 2 through your decisions? Or
no, 1 or 2 will go. 1 or 2 will go. 1 or 2 are at that stage in their careers. They're sought after from other clubs higher up the echelons. We obviously can't compete with what they've been offered. So we will lose 1 or 2 players. So that's probably the sad part about it. I would have loved to keep them all together. I would have loved to try and push on and add to the group next year. But look, that's football, and they've probably earned it. And hats off to them. Fair play to them.
Just asking.
No.
No. Exactly. I've got to ask it. You've got to say no. So there we are. That's it. We'll keep an eye out for anyone who's applauding the fans and waving on Monday. But league placings. Does it? I know you'd like to be in that at least top 7 and long term, but does it? It would be nice when there's a sign of progress. Maybe get top half, given where the club was in the autumn.
Yeah, look, let's not get away from the fact, and I've never really got involved with the talk about that end of the table and the wrong end of the table and what's gone wrong and all this nonsense. I tried to stay positive and I tried to look forward and try and push the group on as far as we could. But there was a real tense atmosphere, real tense, nervy air about the club when we come in 2 points short of the drop. And then obviously come January when you see the others going out and buying and spending and things like that. So there was a real, but I think we had to manage it and we had to, I know, trying to keep the words. I know we were asked, yourself and other members of the media were asking us about that neck of the wood, but I couldn't bring that word and I couldn't allow myself to speak that word, because as soon as you start speaking that, it just becomes the norm and it just becomes acceptable. I'd rather speak about being up the other end of the table. I'd rather speak about winning. I'd rather speak about the success that these lads have dug out and have brought to the football club. My only regret is I wish I was in charge from the 1st of July. I wish I could have got the job earlier. I wish I could have worked with this group a lot earlier. That's my only, that's I look back on. But look, I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Newport County AFC and this group of boys. So no matter what happens to me in the future, in my future career or whatever, I can always say I've worked out with a wonderful group of lads, a brilliant fan base, and a really good club that it needs resetting, it needs regrouping, and it needs refocusing. And it's a massive challenge. It's huge. It's probably the biggest challenge I've taken on in my career, on and off the pitch. But it's one that we're all really looking forward to.
We talk Crewe particularly. It was, on Sunday it was confirmed Chris Flynn is now an official role, as it were. How pleased are you that that's happened? You've already worked with him since January, obviously, but
yeah,
official,
I've known Chris years and years, and look, I always say, and I said it about Kelly Anderson, I said it about Gareth Evans, if you've got good people, Mark Crooks, Pete Madigan, if you've got good people, you've got a chance, and that's what football's about, having good people. Now, being a good person doesn't tick all the boxes for me. You've got to have expertise, you've got to have knowledge, and you've got to have experience, and Chris ticks all them boxes, as does Gareth Evans. So those type of people at the football club, we've got a hell of a chance. We've got a chance. It's a bit up in the air. It's a bit all over the place at this moment in time, or when we come in, and the hurdles we've had to jump over since we've come in. I've lost my S&C. I've lost my physio. So we were kind of flying blind, really, to be quite honest. And again, we managed to get through. We managed to navigate and steer the ship through to safe waters. So that was a massive challenge, and it's not been easy. It hasn't been easy. But to get people on board like that is a real plus point for the football club. He's done brilliantly for me, because let's be honest, I couldn't do anything in January other than get those young lads in, and that's possibly going to be the same next year and for the near future. So Chris is going to be vital in the recruitment. He's vital in the opposition scouting for me, and he's vital that I have a conduit between myself and the board, and I have somebody who can run the football operations off the grass for me, because I don't want to get bogged down and waylaid with all that. Yes, it's not easy given what mess the place has been left in, and some of the nonsense that has gone on with football operations in the past. That all needs tidying up, and that will set us back a fair few. That'll set us back a while. So, but look, like I say, if I was to get involved in all that and I was to take on all that myself, I would have no time at all to be on the grass. So it was important that myself and Joe got somebody in to do all that for us, and to help the club progress, and to just give some expertise to the nonsense that we've inherited.
Do you and Chris know your budgets yet for next season, or is that still?
Well, I know it will be. It'll be. We'll obviously have to make some reductions. We know that we're not daft, but as of yet, and even if we did know, I wouldn't obviously go speaking public. But yeah, look, things are going to be tight. Things have always been tight. It's that's the way it is, and that's the nature of the beast. We certainly won't be able to compete with the big boys, and as I said, and I've said it all along, so far as bidding wars, so far as wages. So we'll have to go bargain basement. We'll have to look and dig deep into our knowledge and our experience and our black books and find little gems here and there. But like I said, and I've said it all along, I don't envisage wholesale changes, and I think I've been consistent with that.
Yeah, well, that spirit you've got, that is something that can sometimes be, there are bigger boys, but doesn't necessarily always translate. Does
Yeah, and I think it's important that we manage them differently than other clubs and other teams are managed. The place is different. It's unique. It's brilliant. There's a great bond between the players and the fans. So it is a brilliantly unique football club that I absolutely love, to be quite honest. And sometimes you fall or you stumble across something that ticks your boxes, and it does. It really does. But like I say, I'll only be judged on what happens on the grass. Yes, we may be not able to do certain things, but still that doesn't get you gratitude. That doesn't get you any leeway. All people want in football, all they look at when they look at the league table or the results on a Saturday, they just want to see their club winning, and they just want to see their club up the top end of the table. I understand that, I get that, and it's going to be really, really difficult. So again, I'd obviously urge patience, and to be fair. And if I certainly don't think there's a short-term fix. We need a little bit of time. We need longevity on this project.
Crewe, it's watch past their game against Bradford. They're a lively side that seem to be sort of finishing pretty well as well.
Yeah, Crewe are excellent. They're a real good team, and in the shape 4-3-3, the way they played the other night, they've got two lads, Ayaji up front, and obviously Chris Long, and that they've got some real good players. They seem strong enough at the back and really technical in midfield, and they've got some pace. Wide men are opposite foot. They like to come in and open the pitches and open the pitch up and make passes. And they like to run between lines and things like that. They're taking people on, so it's going to be a real tough game. They're in a real rich vein of form. But like I say, it's one to be enjoyed. And we've had a lot of opponents here this season who are in rich vein of form, and we've seemed to stand up to that challenge. So it's another challenge. It's a massive challenge. It's a big game for us, individually and collectively, and it's one we can't wait. I don't think the lads want to be on the training ground anymore. I think they just want to go into games. Such is the vibe, such is the buzz that they have. And when you say to our lads 7-8 games in the space of 28 days, they just go, brilliant. Can we not play 10? Can we not play 12 in 28 days? Our lads just want to keep playing, to be honest. They're enjoying it. They really are enjoying it. And they're playing like that at the minute as well, to be fair.
Dead rubber wouldn't come into your language. I'd imagine with Crewe it's the same, because you both can take each other. It does add a bit of nice spice for 46th game of the long season.
I never get that. I'm in the game years. I honestly, and I have to say, I never get when people say dead rubber. I just don't know what a dead rubber means, to be quite honest with you, because every player will be playing for something. And you can strip that right back, league position points. You can strip it right back to basic professionalism, basic professional pride, or basically wanting to go out and put a show on for your own family, who I'm sure a lot of the lads' families will be in attendance. No such thing in a professional environment as a dead rubber. And I kind of, throughout my career, when I hear that, not just here at this club, but throughout my career, I've always heard that, and I've always thought, what a load of nonsense, to be quite honest with you. There's no such thing as a dead rubber, and there certainly isn't. It's certainly, do you know, I'll use a word, disrespectful. If when people, I always find it disrespectful when people talk to professional people and say dead rubber. There's no such thing as a dead rubber in football, or in any sport really. There's always something to play for.
Squad-wise, are you pretty much the Gillingham Crewe? Is that what you're sort of operating on, or is anyone back from a...
Let me see.
Well,
I'm not going to Adam Lewis, no Declan Drysdale, no James Clark, no Ozanzala. Scott Bennett has taken a head knock at Harrogate. I think he's got to do a SCAT test, is it? The protocols, I think it's 10 days later. So after the Harrogate game, that would probably fall around Thursday, Friday of this week. So if he can come through that, he'll join us for training. So I don't think he'll be a problem. I think he'll return, but fingers crossed he returns. Harrison Page took a little bump in training. He pulled out training on Tuesday, or Wednesday, was it? He pulled out one of the training sessions, so he may not be available to us this weekend. He came on the bench last weekend, which was a great experience for him, and we wanted to build on that. Other than that, I think we're fairly okay.
Okay. picks as usual.
I'll start with Crewe on Monday. They had a very good result against Bradford on Wednesday, but both teams have nothing to play for. But what's your approach, given that you have?
Well, my approach will be the same as it always is: try and win the game. We go into every game trying to win it. Such as the confidence that has grown and the self-belief that has grown in the group over the last 5-6 months. So yeah, we'll definitely, as will Crewe, both teams will definitely be going in to win it. Both teams will want to finish the season on a high. Both teams are in good form, so it should be a real decent game. They're a very, very good technical team who are in a rich vein of form, and have done brilliantly the other night to beat Bradford 3-2. It'll be two very, very good teams going at it together, so we look forward to it. But we will be approaching the game to win it, as will Crewe, I would suspect. So I would look forward to a very open, fast, competitive, technical game.
I know you had difficulties with incomings, but mid-table, is this a true reflection of where the team is at the moment? That's a tough question.
Because I didn't have the team for the first, I believe the first 3 months of every season. July, August, September are massive, and I didn't have the team for them 3 months. So all I can talk about is the 30 games, or the 32 games, 31 at this moment in time, league games I've had the lads for. A true reflection of the squad. Probably not, no. I would probably have expected this squad to be higher up the table. But again, I didn't have the opportunity to work with them from the off, so that was that. It was a squad that I looked at when I come in October, and I thought it lacked a little bit of balance. It lacked a little bit of League Two nous. It was probably playing the wrong way for Newport County, the style, the system, the tradition. And I didn't think we had enough goals in us, nor clean sheets, and that's a lethal combination. So they were two things we wanted to address in January. So getting to January is important. Just trying to stabilise us, getting to that period was important. We dug out a lot of results between October and January, but January was big for us. It will take a lot more transfer windows to maybe transfer and get what we need. Whether we can get there in the end, I don't know, but it's certainly for the one to try.
And on January, you brought in youngsters, the likes of Charlie and Callum. What have you made of them, and are those players you're looking to take? Well,
Charlie, Callum and Matt Baker as well. We brought in relatively novices, young lads. I know Cav has had a spell at Harrogate. So between them, obviously Charlie hadn't played in the league, neither had Matty Baker. So look, when you bring young lads in, it's always a gamble, but I think the gamble has really paid off. And what you probably see was the two young lads, what they've done was they've gone in up front and they've added competition. They've also brought the best out of Omar Bogle as well, who's really come on with the introduction of the kids. Now whether that's Jersey under threat or whether that's him being a father figure and looking after them, you can look at it both ways. But Omar has really stepped up and taken care and looked after the lads. He's taken a lot of hits for the team, so they've added a different dimension. We've become a little bit more dynamic. We've become a little bit more of a goal threat. And we've become a real handful to play against since January.
And you may or may not be aware, but today marks 10 years since the club gained promotion back to the Football League, beating Wrexham at Wembley. Does anyone at the club still talk about that day? And how do you think the club has progressed since that?
Oh, it's definitely progressed. It's definitely progressed, and obviously we can't. We can't celebrate those times without mentioning Justin Edinburgh and what he's done for the football club. And we the utmost respect for him. I loved playing against him. I loved competing against him. He was just a competitor. I didn't know him personally, but we could knock lumps out of each other on the sideline and on the pitch as well. So he was a great man that way, and what he's done at the club to set us off, and all the other good people between then and now. So and that again was added pressure when we come in. You know, our league status. You know, it was valuable, and I think every season, if I'm not wrong, I'll probably get a bit of stick for saying this, but every season, if I'm not wrong, I think that has to be the priority. of league status, and anything after that is a massive bonus. But yeah, and like I say earlier on in the interview, it was nervy times that was looming, and there was some grey clouds over the club. So we're just delighted that we could lift it, and hopefully we can build upon the last 10 years and try and carry that work on and try and bring some success to the football club as we move on.
Just on that, on the game, on the playoff final, did you watch the game?
I probably did, knowing me, but I can't remember what happened yesterday, never mind 10 years ago. I probably would have. I did obviously watch the couple of playoff finals. I wouldn't be able to remember, that's being quite honest with you. I'd be lying if I said yes, I'd be lying if I said no. I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Do you know anyone that played in the game?
Well, I probably know most of them. If you've read the teams out to me, no problem. But I can't even. What was that? 2013.
13, yeah.
Where was I in 2013? I couldn't tell you. I was at Southend. I don't know. I don't know. I think we made Wembley that year. I think if my memory serves me right, I think we played in the JPT against Crewe, actually, in the JPT final in 2013.
Yeah.
You'll check that out and correct it for me, because I honestly can't remember yesterday, to be fair. I've been a centre half all my days, and Jesus, I think we made Wembley 2013 that year, if memory serves me right, and the final was against Crewe.
Yeah, we'll double check. In that final you played Wrexham, but how are you looking forward to welcoming them next season to the Rolling Parade?
Listen, we look forward to welcoming everybody. We're competitors. We want to compete. There's been an awful lot of noise around Wrexham, and we congratulate them. We fair play and well done. It's a great story, but we've got our own football club to worry about, and I don't really get too involved in other clubs and what they're doing. But yeah, we as a whole, we as a football club, we congratulate them and fair play to them. Well done. It's a brilliant story.